Namaskar. Welcome to the part number 8 in lesson number 15 under the chapter Analysis Methodology. This lesson is going to be an important and very useful lesson wherein I will be explaining you method to find overall strength and weakness of a birth chart. Through the PILT table with the help of the key planets, we can find that. So let me explain now. Lesson number 15, part 8, finding overall strength and weakness of your birth chart through the PILT table. Overall strength and weakness of your birth chart. We can find the overall strength and weakness of the birth chart, finding the role and influence of the favorable and unfavorable key planets of the Lagna. If the unfavorable key planets to the Lagna are present as rulers and support for many planets, including Lagna Kaspal Lord and Lagna Kaspal Sublord, the chart shows overall weakness or struggles. Unfavorable key planets to the Lagna are present for many planets, including Lagna, Kaspal Lord, and Kaspal Sublord, that basically the chart shows overall weakness or struggles. If the favorable key planets to the Lagna are present as rulers and supports for many or most of the planets, including Lagna, Kaspal Lord, and Kaspal Sublord, the chart shows overall favorable prospects to the native. These are all general points we have to keep it in mind. Which are all favorable key planet, which are all unfavorable key planets, and all we will discuss. The method of finding the trouble-giving planets to Lagna and also to an event with the help of the key planets. Normally, finding the trouble-giving planets has to be given more importance. Than finding the favorable key planets. So, finding the trouble-giving planets, if it is present in the chart, then it indicates some weakness. Suppose unfavorable key planets are not there, absence of the unfavorable key planet itself is indicating that chart is supportive. Presence of favorable key planets making that it is favorable. So, let us focus on the unfavorable key planets, then we'll go for the favorable key planets. Step 1, check the self-signification of all planets. Find the planets with 8 and 12 grouping of houses. Of course, 6, 8, 12 grouping of houses, we can take it. Importantly, 8th house, 12th house grouping of houses. They are the trouble giver to Lagna in general. If 6th house also is adding, it will be more unfavorable. That is 6, 8, 12 grouping. So, when you are checking all 9 planet self-significations, look for the 8 and 12 grouping. Suppose 8th Lord occupying 12th house and 4, 8, 12 Kaspal Star Lord, that Trigons, Moksha Trigons, or 8 and 12 Kaspal Sublord, all these things. So I will explain those points. So, find the planets with 8 and 12 grouping of houses. They are the trouble giver to the Lagna in general. If the 6th house also joining hands, it will become more unfavorable. I think you are able to understand. If the planet is with such unfavorable house grouping, as I said here, will be more unfavorable in the following conditions. Kaspal Lord of Lagna are 6 or 8 or 12 or Badaga house. Suppose a planet is having 6, 8, 12 grouping or 8 and 12 grouping. If that planet is Lagna Lord, or 6th Lord, or 8th Lord, or 12th Lord. So, being the source planet for these houses and also having this unfavorable grouping in self-significations, that planet, it is indicating more unfavorable key planet, right? Suppose, as I said, Kaspal Lord of these houses or Badaga house also, because Badaga house will be more unfavorable, become unfavorable when it is signifying this unfavorable grouping. Kaspal, second point, Kaspal Star Lord for 4, 8, 12 houses. cuspal sublord of 8 and 12 or 6, 8 or 6, 12 or 6, 8, 12 grouping. So in the source, it can be these houses, or in the CST, it can be this grouping of houses, and in CSL, it is having grouping of houses. In these cases, the planet which is having the 8 and 12 grouping in self-signification, that will become more unfavorable to the Lagna. Now we are talking about the based on the self-signification of individual planet only, whether that planet is unfavorable to the Lagna or not. In what condition it will become more unfavorable, we have studied. In that case, absence of grouping of 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 houses, because these houses are favorable to the Lagna. Absence of favorable house grouping and presence of unfavorable, making that unfavorable strength is more, right? So once we have found the unfavorable key planets of the Lagna, step 2, we have to go to the PILT table. If you go to the PILT table, select the unfavorable key planets to Lagna at all levels and find which planets are having these planets in their rulers and also in supports. When I'm going to discuss with the PILT table in the example chart, you will understand better. By the time you can refer this also, this lesson. In the PILT table, we will have all 9 planets, wherein each planet, suppose if you take Jupiter planet is star lord and star lord of the star lord and sublord, star lord of the sublord, all 5 levels for each planet will be there. Their self-signification will be there, because CL, OC, CST and CSL, all 9 planets, all the rulers of your planet will be given. And apart from that, all planets which are in supports, Rasi Lord, conjunction, aspect, everything. First Rasi Lord will be there, then all support planets will be there. So in that PILT table, if you select, suppose if you find Sun and Venus are the unfavorable key planets with the 8 and 12 houses for the Lagna. If you go to the PILT table, select the Sun and Venus. In the PILT table, there is one option to know which are the planets are having these unfavorable key planets, or any planet ruling their rulers or in supports. Whether all levels or only particular planet or star, or which level you want to know, or combined levels, options are there. So if you check for, we want to check these planets' influence or role in other planets. If you check all levels, then which are the planets are having the Sun and Venus in their rulers or in supports, though in that places, that planet's name will get highlighted, so that we can see which are the planets are having the Sun and Venus and their rulers are also in supports. So that will be more useful in identifying the planets which are having these selected planets in their rulers or also in supports. That will be more useful, right? So select these unfavorable key planets to Lagna at all levels and find which planets are having these planets in their rulers and also in supports. I think I made it clear. In that, suppose, check if Lagna Lord and Lagna Sublord are having these unfavorable key planets in their rulers and supports. So we are checking all 9 planets. Out of them, check if Lagna Lord and Lagna Sublord planet are having these unfavorable key planets in their rulers, in supports also. If so, Lagna becomes weaker and also bound to face more hurdles and struggles in life overall. Suppose Lagna Lord in the star of your planet Sun, 8 and 12 significator. So Lagna is going to experience obstacles. Sabha Venus in 8 and 12 significator. So Lagna is going to face more obstacles, struggles in life. Lagna itself is going to, going to experience the problem, means the Lagna is becoming weak. So Lagna becomes weaker and bound to face more hurdles and struggles in life overall. Note, based on the role of favorable key planets, the impact will be present. That is in general. Similarly, check, second point. Similarly, check how we check for Lagna Lord and Lagna Sublord. Which Cuspal Sublord and which Cuspal Lord planets are having these unfavorable key planets in their rulers, especially in star level and sub level, and also in supports. It indicates that the native is bound to experience struggles or troubles on account of those house matters signified by the Cuspal Lord or Cuspal Sublord houses. We studied in this point Lagna. Now suppose third Cuspal Lord or third Cuspal Sublord in the star of a planet signifying 8 and 12. So third house matters are going to experience 8 and 12. So Lagna will experience 8 and 12 through the source planet, that is third Lord. Third house matters. Mind will get disturbed. Third house matters will get disturbed. You understand? Suppose second Lord or second sublord in the star of a planet, which is indicating trouble giving houses to the Lagna, 8 and 12. Second house matters finance. That Lagna will face obstacles on account of the finance, will get struggles or loss on account of the finance. Suppose seventh house is connecting to the 8 and 12 means if the seventh lord or seventh sublord in the star of a planet unfavorable to the Lagna means through the seventh house matters, Lagna is going to face obstacles. That is what I'm saying here. Which Cuspal Lord and Cuspal Sublord planets? Cuspal Lord means that is source planet of the seventh house. Cuspal Sublord means seventh house matter destiny planet. It means that native is bound to destined to face struggles and hurdles through the seventh house matters, right? If the Cuspal Lord and Cuspal Sublord planets are having these unfavorable key planets in their rulers, especially in star level and sub level, and also in supports. If it is there in supports also, obviously the planet rulers also having these 8 and 12, and they are also there in support to the other levels, it will form ruler's link. You would have studied in ruler's link how the planet is a ruler also and also influencing the other levels by way of supports. So that is increasing the unfavorable influence. It indicates that native is bound to experience struggles or troubles on account of those house matters. This is Cuspal Lord or Cuspal Sublord matters signified by the Cuspal Lord or Cuspal Sublord houses. I think you are able to understand this one. So first I was telling about the Lagna. Lagna ruler is in the star of unfavorable key planets. Next point I was telling about which are the Cuspal Lord and Cuspal Sublord planets in the star and sub of this unfavorable key planet. Those house matters are going to give trouble to the Lagna. Lagna will experience troubles on account of those house matters. Now, third point, the native can experience some troubles on the Karagatva of the planets who are in the star and sublord of the unfavorable key planets. I was telling here, 7th house in 8 and 12. So 7th house matters are going to give obstacles to the Lagna, hurdles to the Lagna, or struggles to the Lagna. Now, suppose we are talking about only Bhava Karagatva. Suppose you take the Graha Karagatva. Which planet? Suppose a planet is Moon. Moon, which is governing mind, suppose it is also governing the mother. It is also, representing mother. If Moon planet in the star and sub of a planet, which is signifying 6, 8, 12 grouping, it means what? Lagna, native will experience unfavorable significations to the Lagna through the Moon. So mind will get disturbed. You understand? So that this Karagatva will get disturbances. Lagna will face disturbance through this Karagatva. Mother characters will get disturbance. This also can indicate the characteristics, compatibility or relationship with the mother also, it is indicating some hurdles. Suppose sun planet representing father, that sun is indicating 8 and 12 mean through the sun, the Lagna will face obstacles. Sun Karagatva, government we can say, father also we can take, say. So through that sun will have obstacles, or we can say that native will have some lack of compatibility with the father and government. That also we can say. So the native can experience some troubles on the Karagatva of the planets who are the star and sublord of the unfavorable key planets of the Lagna. That is 6, 8, 12 grouping. For example, Moon, mind or mother. Mercury, suppose Mercury is signifying these houses. Mercury indicates nerves and communication. So that Karagatva will face problem. Venus, spouse, uterus, kidney, secretory organ functions, etc. So that those things will face obstacles, some struggles. Along with that, suppose instead of 6, 8, 12, suppose 4, 8, 12 are, signified by the unfavorable key planets forming 4, 8, 12. Why I'm talking about 4, 8, 12? 4, 8, 12 is indicating obstacles, and also it is indicating some sort of defects. 4, 8, 12, that is karma trikon. It is not indicating any activity. It is indicating lack of, some hurdles or some sort of problem in the regular functions of the body. Some defects also we can say. So if any, suppose Venus is having 6, 8, 12 or 4, 8, 12, so Venus Karagatva will face some obstacles. Suppose it is governing that uterus, kidney, secretory organ functions, that Venus Karagatva, it is indicating this area can get some sort of defects, some sort of malfunctions we can see. Jupiter, liver, kidney, and Sun, father, spine, brain, heart. Saturn, bone, excretory organs, Rahu, respiratory system, and etc. So when we are studying the planet which are in the star and sub of unfavorable key planets to the Lagna, 6, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12 grouping, which planets are indicating that Karagatva will also, that Karagatva, that planets functions are governing, which are the areas that planet is governing, or Karagatva of those planets will face hurdles. Lagna will face hurdles or struggles on account of that Karagatva. I think we're able to understand. So these 3 points, we have to look into that. If most of the planets are having these unfavorable key planets to Lagna in their rulers and supports, it indicates that native will experience hurdles and struggles in life in most of the life events. Based on the influence of the favorable key planets, the impact will be present. I think we're able to understand, right? Suppose Lagna is also connected to 6, 8, 12 strongly. It is indicating weakness to the Lagna. Moon governing the mind is also connected to 6, 8, 12. It means what? Mind is also disturbed. Mind is also having instability. Some hurdles are indicated by the moon. Suppose normally Lagna strength and moon strength are important in handling any situation. If Lagna also having problem and moon is also afflicted by these significations, means basically the native will face problem in thinking, and if third house also connected, thought process will get disturbed. Lagna also facing some problem, means so Lagna will find difficulty in executing things, and Lagna will face hurdles in facing the problem or handling the situation. Mind, moon will face problem in thinking. So when these 2 things are, Lagna and moon, are afflicted with these unfavorable key planets, what will happen? Any situation, any trouble-giving periods are running, the Lagna and moon, they will, because they are all weak, definitely the Lagna, that native will face hurdles and struggles, more stress on account of this. So that we have to keep it in mind. So when we are checking this, strength of the Lagna, we are going to check. And as I said, which are the planets are having, which are the cuspal lord and cuspal sublord are having these unfavorable key planets, those house maters. Suppose importantly, third house maters are going to have the 6, 8, 12, means thought process are going to face. Here Lagna is going to face weakness. And suppose here the Karagatva of the planet, moon is connected to the 6, 8, 12. All are indicating Lagna is unfavorable, weak. Thought process also weak. Moon is also weak. And watery signs and Aries signs are all connected. So then affliction through the Rahu, Ketu, and Saturn are present. it will indicate some sort of problem to the lagna and mind and thought process, so that it indicate that overall the native will always have some sort of tension, stress, confused state of mind and unable to handle the situation. All these things will be indicated. That is overall lagna and mind and third house matters. Apart from that, if many planets, out of all 9 planets, suppose many planets are having these unfavorable key planets in the star or sub, or any one level it is playing and other levels are having these planets in their supports, overall it indicates native will experience hurdles and struggles in life in most of the life events. That is the karma. I think we're able to understand this now. So now we have studied the unfavorable key planets. Now let us focus on the favorable key planets. Now we are going to discuss on the favorable planets to Lagna. As we discussed in the previous slide on the unfavorable key planets to the Lagna and its role, making that chart is unfavorable to the Lagna and also for many events. Many Karagatva also we discussed. Now, similarly, we are going to do the same process for the favorable key planets to the Lagna. How to do that? As we discussed in the previous slide, the same way for the unfavorable side, we have to do for the favorable. Find the planets with a grouping of 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11 houses. Not that all the planets should have all these houses. The grouping of these houses. 1, 3, 5 or 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 or 1, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11. So the planets which have this grouping of these houses, especially with Lagna and 11th houses in self-significations, they are favorable planets to Lagna in general. Does not mean that planet it should have Lagna and 11th house. If they are present, it is going to be more favorable. If the 2nd house and 10th houses are also adding, they will become more favorable. 10 I have already given here, but still 2nd house and 10th house, because 10th house is talking about the status and position. 2nd house is important for the financial matters and also family. So if they are also adding in along with this grouping, then that planets are going to be more favorable to the Lagna. If the planet is with such favorable house grouping, will be more favorable in the following conditions. As we discussed for the unfavorable, under what conditions the favorable key planets will be stronger? If those key planets which are having cuspal lord for 1, 5, 9 or 10 or 11, it means that planet is in the source being the owner of the Lagna, 5th Lord, 9th Lord, 10th Lord, 11th Lord, and also having this favorable grouping in self-signification, that planet has become strong, favorable key planet of the Lagna. And cuspal star lord for 1, 5, 9 or 3, 7, 11 or 2, 6, 10 tricons. Because in the unfavorable side, I was telling about the 4, 8, 12 trigons, because these are all moksha trigons, right? So these are coming under the unfavorable, non-supportive to the Lagna. Other than these trigons, all the trigons are going to be favorable to the Lagna. Especially these 3, 7, 11 are in general favorable to the Lagna for all the activities. For the personal life also, for the professional life also, everything 3, 7, 11 trigons are very good. And 2, 6, 10 is good for the professional life. 1, 5, 9 is good to the Lagna. In general, for the Lagna activities. So 1, 5, 9, 3, 7, 11 are going to be more favorable for the Lagna. And cuspal sublord of 1 or 10 or 11 houses. It means Lagna cuspal sublord and 10th cuspal sublord and 11th sublord itself is having the favorable grouping in its self-signification. It is more favorable for the Lagna. And importantly, absence of 8 and 12 grouping. In a self-signification of a planet, unfavorable 8 and 12 grouping or 6, 8, 12 grouping, it is not there. That planet is supportive to the Lagna. So it is supportive. Suppose the planet which is free from the 6, 8, 12 also having this favorable grouping, that is going to be more favorable. Support planet will become favorable to the Lagna when it is having the favorable key planet, favorable house grouping. Otherwise, it is going to be supportive. So, absence of 8 and 12 making that planet is supportive. Presence of these houses in self-significance is going to be more favorable to the Lagna. I think you're able to understand. So, once we found the favorable key planets, let us go to the PILT table. As we did the process in the previous slide for the unfavorable key planets, same thing we are going to do now. Select these favorable key planets to Lagna at all levels and find which planets are having these planets in their rulers and also in supports. Same way, we have to do that. Check if Lagna Lord and Lagna Sublord are having these favorable key planets in their rulers and in supports. If so, Lagna becomes stronger and is capable to face any hurdle and challenges easily in life overall. Suppose Lagna Lord and Lagna Sublord are having these favorable key planets in its self-signification. I mean, in the ruler, suppose Lagna in the star of a planet, sub of a planet, these planets are having this favorable grouping. Lagna is become stronger. Lagna will take it lightly. Lagna will handle the situation easily because all having favorable significations to the Lagna, they are not indicating trouble living houses to the Lagna. So that way, Lagna becomes stronger and is capable to face any hurdles or challenges easily in life overall. Similarly, check which cuspal lord and cuspal sublord planets are having these favorable key planets in their rulers, especially in star lord and sublord and also in supports. In the previous slide, I was telling on the unfavorable side, which cuspal lord or cuspal sublord planet are having these unfavorable key planets. Lagna will face hurdles or struggles on account of these source planets, right? Similarly, which planets, which cuspal lord or cuspal sublord planets are having these favorable key planets in their rulers, it indicates the native is bound to experience happiness, success, and gain and progress on account of those house matters signified by the cuspal lord or cuspal sublord of the houses. Suppose third house is signifying favorable houses to the Lagna, through the communication, through the mentality, the mind thought process is going to be very good. Understand? So seventh house is signifying favorable houses to the Lagna. Through the seventh house matters, that Lagna will face hurdles and benefits. Through the 10th house matters, 10th lord or 10th sublord is having these houses. Through the 10th house, Lagna will get benefit. Lagna will be happy. Lagna will not face any struggles. I think you're able to understand. Similarly, as we discussed on the unfavorable side, which are the planets are having this signification, that Karagatva also will give, benefits or some strength to the Lagna, right? Now, the next important point, if most of the planets are having these favorable key planets to Lagna in their rulers and supports, indicates that native will experience gain and happiness in life in most of the life events. Based on the influence of the unfavorable key planet, the impact will be present. How we discussed for the unfavorable, the same point I'm giving here. Suppose in the chart, Venus is very good key planet for the Lagna, and Saturn also very good key planet for the Lagna. Suppose if you check all the 9 planets, all the 9 planets are having this. Venus is one of the ruler, or Saturn is in the one of the ruler, and also if that planets are in support for the other rulers, it means each planet under the influence of these favorable key planets to the Lagna. So somehow all the planets will give benefits to the Lagna. Based on their levels, based on the other unfavorable key planets, that impact will vary. But absence of the unfavorable key planets, which are the planets are not having these favorable key planets in their rulers, those planets are not going to be very strongly favorable to the Lagna. If they are having unfavorable key planets, then definitely they are going to give trouble to the Lagna. I think you are able to understand how by looking at all 9 planets together in in the PILT table, you can see all 9 planets grid. We can see which are the planets are having these favorable key planets in their rulers or in supports, which are the planets are having unfavorable key planets in their rulers. We can see at the stretch, many planets are having unfavorable key planets, trouble giving planets to the Lagna in the rulers and also supports. We can say this chart is basically having some weakness. Lagna will face hurdles. The Lagna Lord also having that problem. Lagna is bound to face struggles, and Lagna is bound to face obstacles in handling the situation. And instead of that, Lagna is not having unfavorable key planets in the rulers, and only other planets are having such unfavorable. During those periods, Lagna will face problem, but Lagna will handle the situation because Lagna is not having the unfavorable. So Lagna and mind should be free from unfavorable to think about that problems, or whatever the problems are coming, that native has to understand by way of mind, and the Lagna has to handle the situation, without any sort of struggles. That is most important. So that way we can find overall strength and weakness of the Lagna, and also the overall strength and weakness of the chart. For the native, we can identify with the help of the favorable key planets to the Lagna and also unfavorable key planets to the Lagna. This is a very important point. By way of doing the practice, you will understand. So kindly give focus on this, and we'll meet in the next video. Good luck.